All right. Get ready to be pissed off. Just get ready for it. Okay. At the bottom in the description of this video is going to be the link to the video that I'm responding to. But the title of the video is the fact that women are the problem in a lot of relationships, right? And this woman, who is a host of it, literally sits there and says of the many different ways of how women are indeed responsible for a lot of the troubles that happen in relationships, right? So again, it all goes both ways. All right, I always play devil's advocate in a situation like this. I have plenty of videos on my YouTube where I attack both sides of the equation. I don't attack just women. Okay, so we can get that out of the way right now. I don't attack just women. I literally attack both sides of the equation every single time. Okay, so with that being said, it was something that was said within the video itself that got to me. This woman literally sat there and said, you, as a woman, have all of the power when it comes to having a kid. She is 100% right. You, as a woman, can make the determination up to 6 months to ultimately, because they were talking in the UK, up to 6 months of terminating your pregnancy. In the UK. Okay? Now, within that time frame of any bullshit or anything like that that's happened within the relationship in itself, okay, there are times that relationships don't work out where, you guys can co-parent, but you guys can't be together in a relationship. That happens far often than not, okay? But then there are other times where broken homes are created, and this is alarmingly on the increase because of the fact that when you live in the world of possibility, you think in your mind that despite the red flags that you choose to ignore that has no correlation to mental illnesses, this is you making a choice to ignore the red flags. Okay, you are making a decision to say, despite everything that he's done, despite the cheating, despite the bullshit, you are still deciding to have that ain't shit man's baby. You're making that decision. I 100% agree with her when I say that you are the direct cause of broken homes. Because when you find out that when you snap out of whatever reality that you're living in, because in the realm of possibility, you're living in your own reality, when as opposed to probability, you're living in the reality. Okay? And when you're living in your reality, you think in your mind, you're the last baby mother. Things are going through your brain that probably about like 95% of the time I can't understand. But the 5% that I do understand is that you're in this competition when you claim you're not in a competition. Like the stigma that a fat ass or a print on the pants is going to make he or she a good parent is baffling to me about how that is how we approach the whole baby father, baby mother discussion. I don't even understand how in 2022 it's still a thing. The baby mother, baby father thing is a thing. I don't understand why this toxicity phase is still here. I don't understand why motherfuckers just be like, it's like when you know that you've had multiple baby fathers. That's like, isn't the idea of having kids is to establish a family, not just to become a single mother and say you're doing it all? That's not a flex.
No.
It's not a flex by any means. So why are we sitting, unless the baby father was killed somehow, right? The baby father was killed, God forbid. Something beyond your control happens.
Right.
And you're forced in that situation. That's the only time it truly becomes that flex that you people are posted about on social media. What I don't understand more than anything is the fact that it's like, you made a terrible decision of who your baby father was, okay? Are you holding yourself accountable to it? Or are you holding yourself to a higher standard because of it? Or are you just doing dumb shit? Are you just trying to victimize yourself and say that there's something wrong with your mental because you're ignoring red flags? No, there isn't. There's nothing at all wrong with your mental when you ignore red flags. See, because when you ignore red flags, you're telling yourself, despite what he's doing, I still think that he's going to be a good parent. That's not, I'm still going to listen to the words that he told me instead of the actions that follow.
He's showing, yeah.
And when that's the problem with thinking with emotion besides thinking with logic. Because if you think with more logic instead of emotions, you wouldn't put yourself in a position to where you have these deadbeat baby fathers. You wouldn't put yourself in a situation where you this guy got you pregnant and then he bounced. You wouldn't put yourself in positions like that. Because again, you have all of the power when it comes to having that man's baby. All of the power. Right. He has no say. If you wanted to get the kid aborted and he didn't want you to get the kid aborted, what the fuck could he do if you wanted to get it aborted? What the fuck could he do? He couldn't do shit. All he had to do was just sit there and fucking take it. Okay? If he wanted to be a dad and you said, I don't want to have the baby, guess what? You have all of the fucking power when it comes to that kid being brought into this world. There is no, he manipulated me. So for the same women that sit there and say that there's some sort of mental collapse that you have or mental illnesses, you're trying to weaponize mental illnesses to play the victim card. And it's not cool.
That you bring onto yourself.
There is no place for you to run here because it all comes from you. The baby comes from you. We might plant the seed, but the baby comes from you. You make that decision. So when you say you ignore these red flags, the single parenthood is on the rise, which has already been high.
Right.
And that's scary. Now you want to sit there and say, well, this is what it is. Because a man can't simply sign off his rights to a child and be done with it. But a woman can. A man can't do that. Okay? I'm not even going to talk about child support. That's going to be in a whole other video because child support in itself is just insane. And how much it does not benefit a man at all whatsoever. Okay? The only time that it would... There's very rare occasions that child support has ever benefited a man. And I will explain that in the next video. But at the end of the day, you don't understand how cold and callous that you can be as a woman when it comes down to a man and his baby. So for you to pick the baby father that you pick, that is a life-changing and a life-altering thing that is going on. Your life completely changes forever the moment that a kid is involved. Like, now suddenly you're mature, you're not thinking about, now you're not bullshitting, but you was just bullshitting with that ain't shit baby father of yours. Now all of a sudden you not bullshitting.
Right.
Men who don't have kids they don't see value in a single mother because what if they want to have a legacy of their own? You're not willing to do that.
Right.
Because you're too nervous because of your terrible choice in a baby father before. But if you can't even tell the difference between a man who truly wants to be a father and a man who just wants to fuck, regardless of whether you get pregnant or not, you can't sit there and claim that you're smarter than a man. We all have things that we're smarter at. But there are women, and those same women that was sitting in that podcast, when that girl said that said that it's a mental thing when it comes down to choosing our baby fathers. No, it's not. You're just physically, mentally, and emotionally homebound in that moment. Where you're sexually satisfied, you like what you see, you don't care about what you hear, you don't care about the text messages in the phone, you don't care about any of those other things. You are homebound, which means that your brain and your mentality, you purposely dumb down and you try to rationalize a terrible decision that you're making, all because you don't want to explore the world and explore your options to really find a quality person that can be your baby father, to actually be a father to your children, not just a baby father. Because the father to your kids sounds a lot more appealing than just a baby father.
Yeah, that is very true.
But you want to sit there and say all this stupid shit well, you know, what about men that sit there and tell us? That means you just told on yourself when you said, well, what about the men that tell us that they want to be fathers and then they dip out at the last minute? I'm like, they've already shown signs of doing shit like that way before they tell you anything.
Actually happened, yeah.
They before they tell you anything, their actions are already contradictory to their words.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't see, because you automatically blink out anything that he's done in the past, all because of the fact that he says he wants you to have his baby.
Mm-hmm.
But he already cheated on you. He already disrespected you.
Mm-hmm.
He's already talking to multiple females.
Mm-hmm.
But none of that matters because of the fact that you said that you want to have his kid. So you're picking and choosing when you're getting upset at something like that.
Cherry picking.
All of the actions that this man has done does not add up to his words, but his words affected your emotions, and when your emotions are affected, so is your judgment. So, in other words, when you think with emotion, like about 98% of women do, when you think with emotion and not with logic, it comes to that understanding. Okay? Mm-hmm. This is why there are an increase in broken homes that are formed. That's why there is an increase on single parenthood. And there is a difference between single parenthood and broken homes. There's a vast difference, which I will definitely explain in a different video. This is just a response to that video that I was shown on Facebook. It is pretty old. It's not new. Mm. It is an old video,
but very relevant.
It's very relevant to this era of victim mentality that is so present in our current generation that it's honestly scary. So, with that being said, wise the fuck up, ladies. If you really consider yourself to be smarter than men, then don't allow yourself to be manipulated as such. Don't create broken homes because of your bitterness and because your pride does not allow you to just move on and establish something better.
And choose better, learn how to choose better.
And learn how to choose better. If you know that this man ain't shit, if you know that this man has cheated on you, this is not the era of forgiveness. You cannot love and cheat. That's not a fucking thing. There's no loving but you cheating. No, that's not a fucking thing. Wise up and stop settling for less. Because I hate to break it to you, when you're having a kid with someone who you know ain't shit, that's settling for less.
Yep.
Stop playing the victim in a situation you 100% control.
Right.
Okay? Stop weaponizing mental illnesses. Because there are legitimately people out here that have mental illnesses that's not even making the same stupid ass decisions as you fully functioning adults are doing.
Huh.
If you literally have been diagnosed with a mental condition and something like this happened in your life, then maybe you can flip the card and say you didn't know any better. But when you can sit there and with your own two fucking lips and say that you're smarter than men, but you allow yourself to get manipulated into bringing a kid in the world by an ain't shit guy, you can't sit there and say, if simple words affected you that made you just black out and just erase any sort of actions that he did in the past, all because he wanted you to have his baby, you have no right to sit there in that podcast or in any situation and blame a man for bringing a baby into this world by yourself. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm definitely pissing people off with that. I'm definitely pissing women off with that. But you know what? I don't give a fuck. Because that's the type of shit that pisses me off. Take accountability. You love the word narcissism, but you hate the word accountability.